Hello everyone, we're back again, and this is an extra special video because
we're being ultra casual.
Yes, we're being ultra casual. Anyway, this is an extra special video because this is my on this channel, and this is 100th video.
Well done!
Yay!
Well done.
So we thought kind of have a call this one something like question time or something in regards to
even though we haven't prepped any questions.
Yes. We thought we would just kind of have a casual conversation about reading and all this sort of throw questions at each other. So this is a really kind of just a relaxed, go with the flow. We'll see what happens. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yes.
Sort of okay.
Do you want to go and get my beautiful book that I'm reading
at
the moment? And
sure.
I'll show you. Because I'm desperate for Becky to read this series. I am reading the phenomenal Empire of Storms. I am living. Love. And look at this. That isn't even the best bit. I mean, that cover
hang on, a bit more to the
is beautiful. That's not even the best bit. Look at this. Look at that perfection there. It's so big and beautiful. I'm so in love. I have read over the last 7 weeks the whole of this series that was published so far. This came out on Tuesday, and you've got to read this.
The question, am I going to read it? Yes, I am.
Because I've been telling you about it, haven't I?
Yes, and it sounds very intriguing. And
look, I'm going to go see her as well.
Challenger Festival tickets that I've ordered, and including one for Laura, arrived right after we got back to the train station. So Laura's going to be going to Sarah J. Maas in October.
I am.
But yes, I'm going to read them. I'm going to read them after the book challenge, obviously.
That's a question. What are you going to do after your book challenge, or is that a video that you want to make separately?
It's a video that I want to make separately.
Okay.
But I will say, I might as well say here now, because obviously not everyone is going to see this video.
Okay.
Right, I am going to carry on reviewing books. I have bought a hell of a load of books I haven't been able to read this year.
Yeah.
There are I've got absolutely loads of books, haven't I, upstairs,
that
you do. I wasn't able to do in the challenge because they were too long, or so I've decided I'm going to read them as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to read them at my own pace. So I'm still going to be doing this. I'm still, going to be vlogging, all that lot. But it may take like 2 weeks to read a book or something like that.
Because big books, and I'm talking proper big books.
And well, hang on, I'm going to say it now. Yeah. One of the books that I bought this year that I'm going to read, and I actually want to make it probably my first read of next year, is War and Peace.
That thing's a brick.
That is a brick. That's longer than Les Miserables, which is called the brick.
That could cause blunt force trauma if you.
Yes, it could. So I'm going to be reading that for my first book next year, and as you can imagine, that's going to take me more than a week.
Yeah, it is. It's going to take you a lot longer than a week.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do, I'm still going to be reviewing, but I'm going to be taking it at my own pace. But I'm going to do obviously another video as well, because I'll have a list. I'm going to put the names in the jar as usual. I'm going to pick them out at random. So there's still going to be, but there's going to be a list, stuff. And obviously, if I do buy any other books, I'll add them to the pot as well. So I have a continuous jar, to pick titles from. But that's what's going to be happening.
Okay.
All right. I've now got a question for you.
Go on then.
This, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this or whatever, or if you just like, for now, this is how you feel. Favourite book?
What, of all time, ever?
Yes. Or favourite book at the moment? Because I have this thing with stories. I'm like, with music, if someone says to me, what's your favourite song? It has to be, what is my favourite song at the moment? Because the following week, it could be something completely different.
Music is like a mood. It's a mood enhancer for me.
Yeah.
Favourite book of all time.
Would you say books are mood enhancers as well? In regards to that, you can pick up if you're feeling low. There's a certain story that can pick you up. Or
books for me, they're a distraction from my moods. They don't enhance my moods.
Okay, right.
Music makes me feel better.
Okay,
or enhances my mood, but if I'm in a really awful mood, I put on Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
For example, because Alanis is speaking my frustration.
That's really interesting you say that, because Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill was the album that I played on loop for every single essay that I have had to write since my GCSEs.
I love that album.
My GCSEs, I've had continuous on a loop every single essay. I know that album back to front.
I swear to God, that album was my introduction to feminism before I knew what feminism was.
Yeah.
It was, there's a song on it. It's there's Perfect.
Perfect is
where
really
she doesn't stay perfect until the very end. And I actually love a lot of the songs that are not singles.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's just because you hear them more often, but I often
Perfect is a really good example of that.
I often find that the best songs on an album are the ones that are not singles.
Yeah.
But anyway, my favourite book of all time is and always will be Jane Eyre.
Yeah.
Jane Eyre was my introduction to a real grown-up adult story. The fact it's marketed as a children's book,
I find
get
that
slightly weird.
I can't understand that.
That makes no sense to me. I mean, I read it when I was 14, and I'll never forget.
Young adults, maybe, not saying definite, but maybe.
Deals with some really.
I'm just thinking, because if you can put Ransom Riggs from the adult horror section into young adult, that's why I'm thinking.
Oh yeah. But it is often dismissed as a children's story.
I don't get
Charlotte Bronte didn't write it for kids.
I can't.
But Jane Eyre was my introduction to, sex, to romance, to a heroine who had agency.
A heroine who's not a stereotyped, absolutely bombshell, pretty, perfect
person. Yeah. I mean, she is. I mean, Jane Eyre has been the archetype for so many different books. I mean, Twilight.
Oh,
Bella,
yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Bella is basically modern day Jane without a personality.
Yeah.
Look, I love Twilight, okay? I'm a lover of Twilight, but basically Stephenie Meyer did essentially just strip Jane of any personality and named her Bella.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't only that, it was the force of the love between them that blew my mind. I didn't know that two people could feel that.
And it's interesting how I've always had a negative feeling towards Jane Eyre. I just dramas, TV drama, I'm fine with, but her as a character or the actual book, I just couldn't. Then
I feel that way about Wuthering Heights.
But haven't we had this conversation in the past year or so? Yeah. All of a sudden, I kind of start to understand. I don't know if it's because I'm older, I have more of an understanding of the world than I did when I was 15 or whatever, when I first, tried to read it and everything. I feel more of an understanding about her, and that's why Jane Eyre is one of my books to read next year.
But I've got to say, there's another book by Bronte's sister that was my experience of as well, and that's The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte.
Yeah.
I read The Tenant of Wildfell Hall when I was 17, after I got married at 24, and after I had my son at 26. And The Tenant of Wildfell Hall is about a woman who she falls in love with this beautiful, charming man who is a monster.
Yeah.
But she doesn't find out he's a monster until after they've got married. And then he begins to abuse her, and then she has his child, and he begins to train the child to be like him.
Yeah.
And she sees her son, she sees his corruption of their son.
Yeah.
And she decides she has to leave.
Yeah.
And that idea on its own, that an abused woman could leave her husband in 1840s England, begin a new life, find love again with a man who loves and respects her as her person,
not just
is an absolutely massive statement.
Yeah.
And
how old was Anne when she wrote this?
She must have
early
been in her
20s.
early 20s because she died at 28.
Yeah,
She's buried in Scarborough.
yeah, because she was at work there.
She
there when
was,
she
yeah.
fell ill. Yeah.
That's a huge idea that we are still debating today because it goes against every single principle of Victorian marriage values.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand her at 17.
No.
I thought Helen in the book was kind of boring, kind of really harsh on Huntingdon because, he just wants to have fun and all this.
He wants to go out drinking
and then I got
with his friends.
Then I got married, and I kind of understood it a little better. And then I became a mother, and then I was like, I get it now. Because when you become a parent, you put yourself entirely on hold.
Oh, yeah.
And it's to watch your child be trained to hurt you must be so painful that she had no choice but to fly.
Yeah.
But that's remarkable that Anne Bronte, who was most likely a virgin.
Oh, yeah.
Who never married.
Yeah.
Who didn't know anything apart from her father's household with her sisters and her brother and working as a governess, had enough of a mind to write this book. And it's a very complicated structure because it's Helen's second husband, Gilbert, writing to his friend, relating the story, and it's got Helen's diary extracts and then Gilbert's bit at the end. It's actually a very, very complicated structure to the novel.
Kind of like in a sense like Frankenstein, where it's the letter of the captain of the boat writing to his relative. I can't remember if it's his wife or his sister or
it's
something.
His sister.
It's a sister. Yeah, it's a sister. Telling her what's been going on, conveying this thing about this man has arrived, and then it's Frankenstein telling his story, and then it ends with the captain writing the letter. Yeah. So
but the fact is that this woman had no real life experience. I mean, she did have her brother, obviously, his alcoholism and his drug addiction. And it's very, very interesting that all three sisters explored that in their work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All three of them did. And she wrote this novel, and it's phenomenal, and it gets less recognition than Jane Eyre or Wuthering Heights.
Now, right.
Don't you think that's crazy?
I agree. I agree. Now, I don't know if the reason why it gets less attention is because of the situation of her in regards to Charlotte Bronte was the one that lived out of the three, even though she died relatively young. Mm-hmm. Emily only wrote the one book before she died, and her, let's face it, because Wuthering Heights is my all-time favourite.
Yeah.
Which you can't stand.
It's not that I can't stand it. I like Wuthering Heights for the story. I think the thing that drives me mad with it is the crazy structure of it.
Okay.
And it's kind of hysterical. And I don't mean that...
But
it has to be. Everything's like turned up to the max from the beginning.
It has to be.
It's just me. That's just my thought on it.
And I think because it was so wild, it got so much attention. And Emily died. And I think it's that thing, it's horrible to say, that out of the three of them, Anne is kind of forced into the shadows.
Yeah, she
because
is.
of the popularity of Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights.
I mean, if you look at the adaptations of them, there is only one adaptation of Tenant of Wildfell Hall, which is great,
which is Tara Fitzgerald.
But there hasn't been like a radio play of it or anything, which I just don't understand because Helen Huntingdon and Arthur Huntingdon are amazing parts for an actor to play.
Yeah.
They're really, really good.
Did really well
he played Gilbert Markham.
Gilbert, wasn't it? And
it was Rupert Graves.
What's Rupert Graves? That's it. Sorry, I was just about to say the guy from Sherlock, his name I can't remember. But Wuthering Heights is my all-time favourite because I love. For me, when I came to read it for the first time, I think I was probably about 16, 17, and I just went, wow! It was unlike anything that I'd read before. It's one of those things, and I think because Emily got it so right, and I think it's that they lived on the moors, so they lived, in this area where the weather's constantly going crazy. They were very secluded, from everything else, because if you think of the area, because we have been to where they live. We've been to Haworth, and basically it's just
the parsonage,
the parsonage shop, pub, and then the moors. And that is it. There's nothing else.
No, there isn't.
So they lived very much in their own little world. And you can feel the wind on the moors. You can feel this electricity between Heathcliff and Cathy, and I don't know what it is about it. It just sits in my soul. They are awful people. I will admit it. They are awful people, and what Heathcliff does to screw over Cathy as much as possible, and the Lintons with the subsequent generation. He is a horrible character, but there's something about him that I can't hate.
The one
I don't know what it is.
The one saving grace he has is that his love for Cathy is absolute
and pure.
As pure as he is able to love. Yes.
Yeah. Even though he does things for love which you like, and any normal human being would never do.
No.
He has that.
And I have to say, I've got to say, Tom Hardy plays him beautifully with.
I agree.
Is it Charlotte? What's her name?
Yeah, who is now married
his
to.
Wife.
Yeah. But with that one, I have so many versions of Wuthering Heights, don't I? Because I'm obsessed.
To be honest,
I love it.
I've got most of them.
Have you?
I like film versions of it.
The Laurence Olivier version from 1939. Love that because the chemistry between Cathy and Heathcliff is perfect, but they don't do what happens to subsequent generations. Nope. The Ralph Fiennes and Juliette Binoche one, I've got that because I love how they depict the future generation bit, but their chemistry doesn't really exist. And then you've got the Tom Hardy one, which they captured, they did pretty well.
The Tim Dalton one.
No, I don't. No. I've seen it.
They cut out the second generation.
I know. I've seen it though. The Tom Hardy one, I liked it, but I would have liked it. The cinematography to a bit darker, like the house when Heathcliff is there. There's so many shadows and such, where it's still quite light in that version. But I didn't like that they do what a lot of versions do, which really angers me, is change the way that Heathcliff dies in the end.
So he shoots himself in the head in that version, doesn't he?
Yeah. Pretty much, quite a lot of versions. He either goes out, Laurence Olivier goes out on the moors
and lies down.
He shoots himself in the head. Only the versions I've got, Ralph Fiennes' version, they do it right in that he's been going a bit crazy, seeing Cathy, and then they wake up the next day and find him in Cathy's room, dead. He's just dead. Yeah. His eyes are wide open and he's reaching out the window. Yeah. So her soul has come to the window and taken him away.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is just, when you're like 16 years old, for me, I'd never read anything like it, and to have something like that and have that powerful image just blew my mind. You see, I loved it.
I think that's how I felt about Jane Eyre as well, because Jane leaves.
Yeah.
I think the fact that she walked away from a man who adored her, who had messed up majorly, and she leaves not because she doesn't love him, not because of what he's done. She leaves because she knows she would not be able to respect herself if she stayed.
Yeah.
And that was a massive lesson for me as a 16 and 17-year-old girl, because when we were growing up in the 90s, I don't think, looking back on it now, I don't think that we, and I'm talking as a generation of women, were taught that we are the main characters in our own lives.
Oh no, yeah.
I
It was, yeah.
I think that we very much fell into the trap of we were told by the media, by teachers, you conform.
Yeah.
You do this, you do this, you do this.
Hmm.
And part of that is possibly being subservient to a man, to putting their needs first.
I don't know if it's necessarily subservient, but you kind of it was kind of like, I remember, because I did IT in my degree, and I was the only girl in the class, and it was kind of like, oh, look at you, like, don't do that.
I think
you know,
the
and
Bronte
the amount of sexist jokes I heard, it was like, just because I'm a girl, doesn't mean you have to, you know, it. So I don't know if it's necessarily subservient, but it's that thing of, you're over there.
Yeah. That we are girls, they are boys.
Yeah.
We don't.
And do you know what?
The
Thinking about
a funny time.
Yeah, but and also thinking about it, how at the Cheltenham Literature Festival this year, we were just talking about it, looking at your tickets, what I'm going to. Gender equality there's a few lectures about gender equality that are targeted for young adults this year, which is brilliant. But I can't recall, like at school,
I don't ever remember hearing the term gender equality at school,
or even talking about like different sexuality, stuff like that.
No.
What even gender equality meant?
No, I didn't.
I can't recall
Do you know
that.
what's absolutely terrifying? Actually, is going back to the tenant of Wildfell Hall. Is that I thought at 17 what Arthur Huntington was doing was acceptable.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
Because it was romantic and it was wonderful.
But then
that's really dangerous.
That is, but then at that time we did not have the range of literature available that people have now, which was like
this book series.
Young adult for us was Sweet Valley High and Judy Blume. That was it.
This
Nothing
book
else.
series is marketed at, I would say, between 15 and 18-year-old people. Had I had this book series, it is so important to teach teenage girls that they must be at the centre of their own lives.
Yeah.
Because I know people in real life, I know who unfortunately are in relationships they should not be in, who put up with stuff I would never put up with now. But at 17 and 18, I can sort of understand how at that age you don't really know much about.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly didn't anyway. But my point is if books like this can teach girls to step up, to make choices, to not accept crap from boys, then I think that this is wonderful.
That no matter who you are, no matter your race, your sexuality,
I'm not going to give massive props.
No. But I'm just saying, if there are these books that say no matter what, you're beautiful, celebrate that, and you are strong, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But for us, we literally had Judy Blume, who wrote about girls starting their periods and
sports bras
and all that lot. And
but no, to be fair,
a bit of that awkward in between age.
To be fair to Judy,
all we had Sweet Valley High, which was about two 70-year-old teenagers who were identical twins living in Malibu or something, or Florida or
California.
California. It's been many years since I've read one.
Please, they were upper middle class white Californians with perfect skin,
and they all had cars, and they all went to high school with the perfect hair and the latest outfits and all this lot. And it's like,
I shudder to think
why did we read those?
I don't know.
If that was the only thing we had available, that was all we had.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this started out as a question video. We haven't really done many questions.
Right, let's go
but-
back to questions.
No. I mean, we can just talk about this.
Okay,
if you
let's
want
talk.
to.
Let's do another question about
Go on,
women. Favorite heroine in a book. It doesn't have to be lead because I know who mine is.
Favorite heroine from a book. I'm gonna pick someone other than Jane Eyre because I don't want to keep talking about it.
Should I do mine?
You do yours, I'll think.
Mine is Molly Weasley from Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
Because I love the fact that she is a woman who has, she had various kids. She chooses to be, stay-at-home mum. She looks after all her family as much as she can. She practically, as soon as they meet Harry, he becomes another son.
Member of the family, yeah.
She does whatever it takes to protect her children.
Yeah.
She kills Bellatrix for her daughter, and swears, even though she constantly tells Ron off for swearing throughout the books. She accepts everyone no matter who they are, and she has her flaws and everything. She is a wonderful human being, and I love the fact that they showed her fear in the books, like when the Boggart who shows her all of her children dead at her feet.
I mean,
it's
the thing about Molly Weasley,
and she doesn't stand out. She doesn't go, "I'm the main, I'm the star."
No.
She's just there as a constant.
She's a mother,
human heart.
Yeah, she's
beautiful.
A mother, and I remember J.K. Rowling saying that she was being interviewed, and someone said, "Well, Molly Weasley is just a mum," as if that's all she is. And as a mother, that is very annoying when you are written off as such and such's mother.
Yeah,
it's not about that. Molly is. I mean, I've seen on Tumblr someone's written, Harry is saved by 3 mothers.
Oh yeah,
his own mother, Molly, and Narcissa.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, in the Harry Potter universe, a mother's love is the absolute.
Yeah,
it is the absolute.
Yeah,
and as a parent myself, I could never ever go back. I mean, I love having these like punctuated breaks.
Yeah.
Like this weekend.
Yeah.
That's great. But it changes you.
Yeah.
On a cellular level.
Yeah.
So for someone to just go, "Oh well, you're just a mum," that's like a massive insult.
Yeah.
Because I've had life literally within me.
Yeah. I know this isn't quite the same, but it's like saying to I know they're not the same in the slightest. I'm not comparing this, but kind of saying like to an Olympic athlete, "Oh, you just run around for a bit.
Just run around, yeah.
You don't," and it's like no, but obviously, but on another completely different level.
Yeah. I mean, women are the most powerful people on the earth.
Oh yeah,
because we are able to give life and give birth.
Yeah.
And the fact that we are looked down upon for that, I find just utterly senseless.
Yeah, and the fact that if a guy does something that is empowering, what he feels empowerment, he's like really praised for it. But if a woman does the exact same thing, she's looked down upon and teased and called a slut.
And
or
another thing is that is remarkable as well when you become a mother is that you are automatically, it's like I said, your identity is kind of you're someone's mother, not yourself anymore. And part of that is being almost desaturated as a woman in my own right. And what I mean by that is I became a mother because I had sex.
Yeah.
You become a mother and it's like you're not allowed to do that anymore because you've got the child to look after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not true, folks. Kind of not true. But like all I'm saying is that what I love actually about Rowling's work, particularly Harry Potter, is that the mothers are given status.
Yeah.
And that very rarely happens.
And as she said before in an interview or something that I saw, where she said that in the wizarding world, a woman is just as powerful as a man.
Because I know that she said about the Sikh couple in A Casual Vacancy, and that in the Sikh religion, that men and women are completely equal in that as well, and that's part of the reason why she chose to talk
and
to
she
write
got
that.
and she got slated for the way that she wrote them,
Right.
because the couple don't have a great relationship.
Right.
He's a plastic surgeon and she's a doctor, the country doctor, county doctor, should I say, and they don't really have the greatest relationship. And critics were saying, "Oh, so you're criticising the religion, basically,
No,
because they were together." It's like, no, they're just two people who just don't see eye to eye all the time, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's like they're totally there for their daughter when they find out everything, at the end of the day that's been going on. If they were, so terrible, they wouldn't react the way they react.
Yeah,
But
no, I think feminism is important.
Oh yeah,
and it's needed. Yeah, it's really needed.
So who is your favourite heroine?
My favourite heroine, I'm gonna have to go with the one I'm reading at the moment.
That's fine. Let's talk about her.
Aelin Ashriver Galathinius.
It's easy for you to say.
Because this girl kicks ass and takes names. No, she is someone who has been hiding for a very, very long time and is learning how to be a queen. And her character development from the beginning of the series to now has been phenomenal. But it isn't just that. It's the fact that she is a bloodthirsty killer.
Yeah.
She will rip your throat out if she wants to.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been tempered a lot more now because she's got far bigger things to think of. But she also likes fashion. And she also likes chocolate and books and poetry.
Even if it's a very fantasy world, you've got that very human element,
very human person who loves pretty things but will also kick your ass if you need it. And I think just from the point of view of having a fully rounded human being, then she's my girl. Definitely.
Okay, do you have a favourite villain?
Yes.
Okay, who's your favourite villain?
Blackjack Randall from Outlander.
Ooh, okay, do you want to talk about
Blackjack Randall from Outlander is essentially a no-holds-barred psychopath who is the kind of person who you would not want to meet down a dark alley at night when he was feeling it.
Right.
I won't spoil it, but this man does things that you just have no. I mean, you've read Outlander. You just have no words to even come close to it.
Yeah, there's some people who you encounter in books just as you encounter in life, where you just can't describe them to their, use words to convey their real person. You have to see it or know it.
It isn't even what he does to Jamie.
No, yeah.
It's the whole of it.
It's
the psychological breaking down.
It's kind of like George from Poldark. Not the same in regard that what I'm just about to say in regards to that every possible level he has to get.
Oh god, and he goes down.
But obviously George from Poldark and here, are really quite different.
And he I mean, he is at his absolute worst at the end of Outlander.
Yeah.
And when I read that, I was a fucking wreck. I was a wreck because of what he was doing.
Yeah.
But to me, the mark of a good villain, and I think Diana Gabaldon wrote. I didn't say Claire from Outlander for my heroine. She could have been, but no.
Well,
But anyway. The thing is about him is that he leaves you with such. I mean, like I've finished Written in My Own Heart's Blood, and that book takes place 40 years after Outlander,
Right.
and Jamie is still marked by his experience,
Yeah.
still having dreams,
Yeah.
still having to really go through what he experienced,
Yeah.
and I'll never forget him.
Yeah.
So what's your best villain? Who's your best villain?
It kind of depends on what mood I'm in. I know that sounds really strange, but there's certain characters who, in certain situations, just really stand out to you, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, I don't know if it's just because I'm reading Hunger Games or whatever, but Snow, because of the way that he does things. Because Snow in the Hunger Games, he's basically the head of the Capitol, which is where they organise Hunger Games each year. And Katniss Everdeen did something in her Hunger Games, which is the first book, which basically screwed him, or really angered him. And he's a man where he's one of these villains where he knows that he doesn't have to yell. He can talk very quietly and do little things, and they are the scariest things possible. And for that, I think that stands out as being more terrifying than somebody screaming in your face or something. That is truly horrific. And the things that he does to Katniss.
Yeah, I mean, Black Jack Randall has a bit of that himself, because he believes that what he's doing to Jamie wants.
Oh. I know what it is, and I'm like, oh.
He believes that Jamie is his.
Yeah. And
he will do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And Jamie will enjoy it because Jamie's there, and Jamie wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But that is, I think, when you talk about predatory people, it is that type of person that is the most sickening, who truly believes that their victim wants it.
Yeah.
And they don't. And they won't hear that they don't.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the fact that with like Snow, he's very calculated. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he will, as I said, do it very calmly. And he's always got a smile.
I've got to say, after seeing the films, I'll never look at White Roses the same way again.
I know. I'm reading Catching Fire at the moment, and that moment where when she walks into the library and he's there, the first thing that he says in the book is the smell that hits her, the combination of flowers and blood.
Oh God, I feel ill.
I know, and it's like, and that is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got two last questions.
Okay.
A favourite hero this time instead of heroine?
Jamie Fraser.
I thought you might say that.
Because he's my darling, he's my heart, he's my book husband. I've got my real husband, and then I've got Jamie, but Alan knows about him, so it's fine. Jamie Fraser's my heart. I'm just, he's Jamie. I love him so much. And I love him because he is fundamentally a good man.
Yeah.
A truly good, solid man who will fight to the death for those he loves. And I love him.
Yeah.
I do love him. It's very...
And that's the exact same reasoning for my one. And you might go, about it, but, he's Cormoran Strike. There's something about Cormoran Strike, which is the crime novels.
My God, Tom Burke is going to...
I am so happy. Tom Burke, one of my favourite actors, is going to be playing him. And I'm like, I was nearly screaming, wasn't I, when you
were?
told me?
I called you. And you were
like, told me. I was like, oh my God.
I find Tom Burke so attractive.
So I was talking to my friend Katie about this at work, because Cormoran looks nothing.
I know,
Like
you
Tom
sent me
Burke.
that photo, that,
Yeah.
that cartoon of him.
Yeah,
and
he's overweight. He's got one leg, well, 1.5, because it's his lower leg that got blown off.
But do you know what? Tom Burke
He's-
makes ugly
well-
men look really sexy.
Yeah, but my friend Katie was saying to me, what if they're going to do that thing where he'll be pretty, but he doesn't realise it, something like that. They'll do it like, but then we don't know. We don't know because he's very overweight. He's described as bear-like. He's
But Tom
35 and
Burke
looks 50.
as Athos,
Yeah.
he's not a pretty man.
No,
But he is.
but he
It's
is.
his eyes.
Yes.
His
So
eyes
that's
are so much
that's
soul.
what Katie meant, because
Yeah.
he's described as very bear-like in his body, and he's
quite
he's
Hulk.
overweight,
He's a Hulk.
and that because of his weight, it affects his limp because of his prosthetic. So he's limping and he's very bear-like and things like that. But he's got such a heart, and he's a genuinely lovely person who has fallen into a terrible situation,
Right.
which means he's got no money, so he's living out of a plastic bag in his office, and he has to go to the local swimming baths to have a shower each day.
Oh, bless him.
And he
That's
lives
awful.
off crisps, Snickers, pot noodles, takeaways, and beer.
Oh, that's nice,
that's,
JK.
that's all he lives off. And then he meets Robin, who's there.
Are they going to get together?
No.
No?
I'll be really angry.
Will you?
Honestly, I'll be really angry at J.K. Rowling. She gets them together.
Right,
I would be
okay.
fuming because
We've
they
been talking
you know.
for 40 minutes.
Right, last question.
Okay.
Favorite moment in a book? Do you have a particular moment that you just read and it just sticks with you?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
The ending of And Then There Were None.
Ooh, good choice. Okay, so And Then There Were None is an Agatha Christie.
It's an Agatha Christie psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Which is about 10 people on an island, and they keep dying.
One by one.
One by one by one. And what I love about it is the amazing, accurate, and terrifying depiction of a psychological breakdown of one particular character and her ending.
And the fact that every single death is following a nursery rhyme, which is printed all over the house.
But it's not even that. It's the fact that she I don't even know if I could say it, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's not about
what the events
no, it's about what has happened in the past
Yeah.
and how it comes back and smacks her in the face, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it is
So
very
clever.
interesting read.
So chilling as well when you read it. You just
The recent drama didn't do it justice.
I was so cross.
Yeah, it
I
had the
was
potential
so
to do it.
cross. The reason why it didn't work was the writer decided to change.
If they'd done it like the book with the message in the bottle, which revealed who it was,
No,
because you don't know. Until
no,
that point.
not even that, but like the radio drama. I loved the way they adapted
Oh,
it for
yes.
radio. They could have done that. What they decided to do was she decided to overinflate one particular person's crime.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah. Oh, she
And
changed two of them.
She changed
didn't
two of them, and the other one that she changed again was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because I think that what that person did was enough.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't have to make it. And there were particular characters who you get no allusions to this in the book, who were gay.
Yeah.
That for some reason.
That meant that they did the crime that they did.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was really strange.
It was stupid. And what's awful is I was so excited and so looking forward to that. And I didn't like the girl that played Vera Claythorne. I don't think she did a very good job of it myself. But that's just me. That's just but for me, the written ending of And Then There Were None is phenomenal. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Mine, it's JK. I keep on coming back to JK, but she's such
Everyone
an
loves
amazing
JK.
writer. It's the moment in Deathly Hallows where Harry goes into the forest and sees his loved ones.
And it's the Resurrection Stone, isn't it? Then? Yeah.
And that moment, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know. And yeah, it's just, you can feel that J.K. Rowling wrote that in regards to what happened with her mum.
Yeah.
And it resonates, I think, with everyone.
Yeah.
That if you had that chance to see them again,
you would take it.
you'd take it.
Yeah. That's a powerful writer.
I know.
It's very, very powerful writer.
Just, and when I read that, I was like, God, and it even got to me so much that I wouldn't go to the cinema.
I know you wouldn't. I thought that was, but that
because
was your choice, so.
Because that moment was so important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I knew, because they'd done the book so well, I was just thinking, oh, they might tweak it, and I can't imagine that moment being any different, and it freaked me out so much that I couldn't go to the cinema to see it. So I waited till the day it came out on DVD. I went to HMV at night. I was there from 9 o'clock in the morning. I bought it. I came home. I shut my bedroom door because it's when I was living at home. And I sat on the floor and I watched it. And I cried for about 3 hours or something ridiculous. I was just so... Because they did it nearly word for word exactly what it is in the book. And that just...
broke you.
It broke me, yeah. It just hit me, and it's having lost loved ones in the past and whatever. Seeing that moment was huge, and that's why it'll live with me forever. Yeah,
and that's what powerful writing is supposed to be.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a reflection of your own experience and your own feelings, and I think that's...
And J.K. Rowling is the only person who I can say hand on my heart, because like those particular moments, those particular characters, who will forever live in my heart.
That's
if I could meet her, I would thank her for writing these books.
Yeah. I feel the same way about Diana Gabaldon, because there have been a lot of moments in that where I've just bawled my eyes out.
Yeah.
Because I think with a series, you get to know them so well. You feel like you're a member of their family.
Oh, yeah.
And you love them because you've grown with them.
Yeah.
And you know what they've been through. And it is that feeling of this family live with me and I love them for that. Yeah. And I definitely feel that way about the Frasers of Fraser's Ridge.
Yeah.
They're my heart and I love them. And, I agree. If I could meet Diana Gabaldon, I'd give her a big old hug and go, get on with book 9.
Come on, give us the next one.
Next one.
Right. I think we should stop there. We've been going for 46 minutes. My God. Wow. But it was a lot of stuff we were talking about. It's very in-depth.
Yeah, it was.
So sorry we took so long, but thank you for sticking with us. And thank you for joining us for my 100th video.
Yay!
See ya. Bye.